Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Joan here, and today's video is going to be about how I bought so many zines during COVID-19 2020. I bought so many. I think I used all my stimulus money on zines. No, I'm just kidding. Definitely was responsible with my finances, always. So let's do this. Look at this. This is like a whole stack of zines that I bought. And I wish I had all the money to buy every zine that my friends put out this year. By no means, I had no plan in buying any zines this year. I'm one to buy at least maybe a few books on my Kindle and maybe a photo book here and there once in a while when I go to the bookstore because I could physically see it. But because of what's going on with the pandemic, you can't really go to bookstores at the time in the beginning, and then everyone just had all the time in the world to put out a zine, and here I am being a consumer, supporting and buying them online without being able to physically look at them. And either way, it was just a nice gesture. I felt like to buy the zines and be surprised regardless to see what my friends came up with. And so here it goes, and probably we all bought the same zine. So, and then there's I know for a fact there are some that I know no one really kind of knows in my circle, so I hope you guys support and learn something from this. So let's do this. So I just want to first say that it's not going to be all photo zines. The whole point that they're just zines, but most of them are photography zines. So first off, we are gonna go with my friend Chris Lucero. He is my old co-worker, and now he is a freelance illustrator based in New York. And oh man, I've loved this series forever. That the first time I supported was buying a postcard with this character, old man of his, and then he created a bunch of mini series books, and I wasn't able to get all of them at the time, but then I asked him as a request he could like supply what he has. So I have volume 1, 2, and 3, and they're just pretty much, when I used to work with Chris at a retail store, he would always be doodling on our schedules, and I always like sidely like be interested in like looking at them without him even knowing. He was just doing it for fun, but little did he know that I would be looking at them and being excited to see what he was gonna create next. So inside are just a bunch of sketches, and it's like the paper. So just a little known fact, Chris opened up with his girlfriend a print shop that is based on Rizzo printing. If you don't know anything about that, look it up. It's not the same as like inkjet or laser printing. Like, it's a whole completely different way of printing, but I'm not an expertise in that, so I don't even want to give you a whole spiel about Rizzo printing. So if ever you're in Chinatown in New York City, they own a little print shop called Lucky Rizzograph. That's where you can inquire about printing in Rizzo, pretty much. And so this is not all done in Rizzo, but I'm just like in love with looking at his illustrations, especially with this old man. They're like very quirky, human studies, and yeah, and the colors, the palette of it, they're just so simple, but like I could just go over these over and over. So it's pretty much like I want to say 5x7. I hope I'm right. 5x7. No way this is 4x6. Is this 4x6? Maybe it's 4x6. Don't quote me on that. But the paper is like very, like, just want to keep touching the paper. soft, and it's bind with staple. And like I said, I am no expertise, but yeah, you could tell that some of them are like much more saturated than the others, but this is the latest one. And like I said, it's the same thing. It just has illustrations of the old man. But yeah, if you're interested, hit up Chris. All of the things I'm going to mention are going to be in the description box. I don't know if any of these are still available, but it is worth a shot to ask the people if they are. And Chris is a nice person, so I can vouch for that. The next zine that I have is made by Timothy Dissler. If you know him by Timothy Makeups, he is the co-host of the Analog Talk podcast. And this zine, I'm not gonna even try. I was like looking at the title. I actually don't know. It is, I'm not gonna butcher the way how you say it.
Mare Serenitatis.
So this small zine has glossy cover, thicker cover compared to the inside. And you could buy this zine off of blurb.com. It's an easy platform to create your own books and zines. And the book consists of photos taken during the early months of 2020 at the start of COVID-19 global pandemic. All photographs shot on either expired Kodak Gold 800 or Fuji Superior 1600 with Olympus Stylus Epic. So all these photos were shot with a point-and-shoot camera apparently. And I'm gonna guess that these were shot in Franklin, Tennessee, where Timothy lives. It's interesting when you look at the photos because they have huge color shifts from, obviously you could tell he's shooting at night, but the colors are like super bluish greens. And then you end in this kind of photo with regular, normal color. So yeah, it's very cute and petite, to the point. It's a good like zine to carry with you if you want to just like share, and people can just like grab and flip through it. When you look at people's zines, it makes you wonder like what made them want to capture certain photos. The thing that I noticed with Tim's photos in his zine, there's like one certain object or detail that he really focuses on. So support Tim on buying this book. Timothy Makeups, Timothy Dissler is his name. Madison Zine, all the way from Brighton, UK, called A Return to London. A lot of people I've seen already made videos in regards to how their thoughts were about her zine, and I thought it was a coincidence that when she first opened to pre-order this, I landed number 16, and 16 is my favorite number, and it's my birthday number, so thought it was meant to be. I believe in signs like that. So first, packaging. She has a video on her YouTube channel explaining the whole process on creating this zine. She had her friend stitch this, so I thought that was pretty nice. And the packaging is not like your typical plastic that you get with other orders. So this is the book, very like strong, like made, heavy, hard, I don't know, whatever you want to use as a adjective. Before I even go with that, it comes with a map of London for the tube. So you, if ever you're gonna go to London, you got a map now, and you gotta get the Oyster card, I believe. Yeah, I haven't been to London since I was 16. See, crazy, told you, meant to be. If you don't know already, Madison, she is a female photographer based in Brighton, UK. She would travel to London, and these are the photos that she captured on her travels there and when she was there, not all in the same day. You really can tell that Madison put a lot of thought into this. Every page has detail. Just already alone with the cover has all her tickets. Madison has explained on interviews that she likes to collect little memorabilia that came from her note journal of how she was feeling on February 8th of this year, 2020. And she always talks about how insecure she is about her writing, but honestly, everyone has some sort of flaw, and you just gotta own it. I like the feel, I like the size and the thought that was put into this. What I know, a lot of people also like this zine because of the price point. Yeah, I live in the States, so it's kind of had to pay for shipping, but overall, if I lived in Europe or in the UK, the price point of this book, for the quality of this book and what's inside it and the whole thought of it, I thought it was very admirable because the price point was not so expensive that you can't afford this. So yeah, this is Madison Beach's zine, and I know she doesn't have this for sale, but if you reach out to her, you never know, she might give you one. So there you go. So the next zine I'm going to talk about, probably you guys all have too, is Willam. His zine called Walking Svalbard, when he went on a trip to Norway and documented this location, and pretty much, not trying to spoil, in the book it talks about how Svalbard is the world's northernmost town, and during the winter season it talks about how 2,000 residents live in 24 hours of darkness and endure extreme weather conditions. So this is his zine that he came out with this year. I went to his gallery show in the city and picked up this America's Playground. Yeah, this is the packaging of the first one. And my little take on Willam's Coney Island zine real quick is that I enjoyed the gallery showing more because the prints were like super big, like ginormous, and you could really see the details in the photos. I love the photos in the zine, but the quality, they just obviously are matte printed, but the saturation, it just seems too low. I just felt like it just came more to life when you saw it in person, or if you just boost saturation. I'm just laughing because I see Willam's autograph like everywhere. This is his first zine, and then now this is his second one that just came out. Like, you could totally tell the progress that Willam has made throughout making zines. So just can't wait for the next one to come out. Pretty heavy. It is the Boyzzin by Rosie Madison, based in London, UK. This one is like those coffee table books that you'd see probably at some modeling agency. So Rosie has been working on this project forever. If you followed her, she's made Super 8 films with Kodak, skateboarders, and this also came with this postcards, rest in peace. And this is pretty heavy to carry. Talks about her process, and this is a table of contents. It has a map of like where she's been, different continents, different cities, and then it also has a documentation of her Instagram DMs, her train tickets, film stock wrappers. This is like, I feel like her most popular photo that everyone knows her by is this portrait of this guy who actually I didn't even know until I got this book that he has a twin. That's crazy. But yeah, as you can see, twins. Yeah, it's not the same guy in two different outfits. And so yeah, as you go through the pages, the guys in the book pretty much talk and share little stories about themselves. And it's interesting because like when you look at a portrait and you're like, okay, there's this guy, this is his name, and then you start reading about him, and then you're like, oh, I would never picture 2 and 2 together. Or maybe you'd be like, yeah, I would assume that this is how this person is. And so I think that was something very interesting and cool. And sometimes she shows details of the guy, of like something that sticks out about them physically, like tattoos and clothes. And so it's just interesting. As a female, what cracks me up, it's like, because you see the boys that she captured in different locations, you're like, okay, I'm gonna go to this place because they got cuter boys there. No, I'm just kidding. Or maybe I'm not. So that's, I feel like, as a female perspective, more than who knows what may others think. So yeah, overall, the difference from all the other zines is that, so the difference from all the other zines that I've gotten so far, this is huge. I wouldn't even call this a zine anymore. It's like it's like a soft cover heavy book. The embellishment of the word boys is pretty cool. And the back too came with this sticker just in my room. And you could just tell also that this book had a lot of thought into it. And it took a lot of time because she had to travel all over and to document different boys and to ask them their stories and then like put it all together and figure out. I definitely believe that there's probably some boys that didn't make the cut. And just to think about all of that, like, how do you even know like who you're gonna photograph, who you're gonna put in here to get releases forms for them? I don't know. When I look at a zine or any type of thing, I think of like the whole production altogether, not just the book itself. But yeah. Lastly, another zine that I feel like a lot of people probably copped and got was the NYC I Love You Joe Greer zine. If anyone knows me, I've been a big fan of Joe Greer's. I feel like a lot of people are too, but I've followed his journey ever since he moved to New York. So the fact that he moved to Tennessee now, where his wife is from, it's just mind-blowing because I remember seeing him, you know, at B&H, you know, and thinking I would just always would run into him because I live right next to New York City. And then now that he's gonna be in Tennessee, it's like a whole different mindset. But I guess that's like what happens as people grow. So it was nice that it's not goodbye, but it was more of like he had to give some tribute to New York City, because definitely I could tell his life changed forever when he moved to New York City. His photo career definitely took off. He was a pastor who then became a photographer to an influencer to, you know, everyone now knows him in the film photography community. So going back, little side note that maybe doesn't matter to a lot of people, but my birthday is February 16th. I'm a Aquarius, and I know Joe's is February 17th, so I also take that to appreciation that we are fellow Aquarians. And so we're probably very determined and hardworking and have maybe sometimes no social life. So I love the color, how simple it is. It's like there's no, you know, flashy photo or anything. It's just as if it's definitely how Joe described it, a letter to everyone about New York, or his letter to New York. So the one thing that I also think about when I see Joe's work is each photo stands out on its own. And I've always waited. I know he's been prolonging for the longest time to put out a zine, because I remember listening to interviews that he would talk about how he wasn't even sure like what he would make a zine about. And for me, I'm hoping he'll make a zine on India. Those photos are stunning. His trip there too. But anyways, it's crazy when you see his POV videos too, when he would just be on a GoPro chest mount and just like capture New York with his Leica. It's just like he just sees something and he just goes for it. And I think I also share and resonate with that, because when I see a subject, I just can't not take a photo of it, because then I'll just like be in my head afterwards if I missed it and be like, I should have captured that. And another thing is that he worked for Visco, so I feel that a lot of the colors remind me of a palette in Visco, because definitely Joe's photos have a certain color palette that you just know it's him. But yeah, I'm not gonna skim through this whole book with you because he has a video explaining it all together on his own channel, being more in-depth about it. But the one thing that I could say is, from all the other zines that I have, they were all in locations that like I don't live at or live in. And because New York City is pretty much my home, seeing what Joe has captured in New York City, it's like I've been there, I've been on that street, I've been in front of that store, and I know I could tell you right off the bat, like this is like Washington Square Park, and this is just like a side of the whole monument. But like, if you don't know, you wouldn't guess that right away. But I could just tell when he was on 34th Street or 23rd Street. And this is like another picture of like Washington Square Park. It's just interesting to see what people capture in the same place that you've been to. And I think what I think is amazing about these photos, like I said, is like each photo tells a story in itself, and you just wondered like where this person was. Or it's such a simple thing, like just a person. It's like half of their body, but why does it strike to you and make you want to know more? Because they're mysterious, because you don't see them fully. But overall, I think it's, if you know the artist, if you know the photographer, it's much more sentimental when you have these zines. So I honestly admit that I wish that the cover was much more thicker, because it's very flimsy. But the photos inside of this are solid. I love the colors. I love this color as well, and I like the size. I just wish that the cover was thicker, just because this is a book that you would hope to see in a bookstore one day, and someone pulls out and will just be like, NYC I Love You, like wonder what that is all about. And I feel like this could get destroyed real fast. So that's my only take on this zine from Joe Greer. That is my spiel of all the zines that I had accumulated during 2020 so far. And like I said, it's not about the money. Sometimes a book can really provide you a lot of information that, yes, the internet can also provide as well, but there's just something, I appreciate the print quality of books, and it makes me sad when I think about how books are going to be obsolete one day, because everyone's using technology to read, and I am also a consumer of using a Kindle. So, but there's just something, especially when you look at photos in these books, you just cannot buy these. And supporting the film community is a big deal. Supporting creatives and artists. And at the same time, a lot of people have been asking when I'm going to put out a zine, and I honestly am working on it. It's just not going to be this year for sure. I know that's not gonna happen. I definitely, just as these people, I want to take the time to figure out what it is that I'm going to put out, and I'm not gonna half-ass making a zine just to say that I made a zine. And to each their own, that's just how I work. And yeah, I can't wait to share with you guys when that day comes that I create a zine. But looking at all these zines definitely is inspiring me to make mine. And yeah, I know a lot of people also are I know a lot of people second guess about making zines. They think about, are people gonna even buy it and all that stuff, and people have different ways in figuring out what will give them purpose to make a zine. But as of right now, for me, like I said, this is why I feel like I'll know the timing is right when I'm going to release whatever zine that I come up with. But as of right now, it's not. I just appreciate right now looking at other people's work and seeing what they create. And that is it for now. Thank you for watching. And if you have any other zines, recommendations for me, please comment below. I'd appreciate it. I wish I could have a Rolodex of all the photographers that come up with zines every other week, but I don't. And I just see what I see, and then if I like it, I buy it. So that's all. Stay tuned for the next video, and thank you again, as always, for the support and watching this video. Okay?